Welcome back to another incredible Reddit Stories compilation. Today, we're diving into r/Entitledparents with 4 amazing stories that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Subscribe for more daily content. This story is titled Mom Asked Me to Pay for Christmas Stay with Them, posted by u/il@4125. I live across the world, and at my stepdad's invitation, I came to visit my mom and my stepdad. My mom has been giving me a cold shoulder since I arrived. She has been withdrawing from me for the past year. But I was going through a very difficult period of my life, surviving war, so I couldn't deal with her. Since it's Christmas time, I decided that I will invest in the time and energy to come see my parents. The flight tickets costed $2,000 and the flight itself took me 20 plus HRS just to get home. Since coming here, my mom has been telling me that I am too much of a taker rather than giver. She raised me, but yet I have not given her anything. I kept on asking her what she wants, and eventually she said that she wants me to pay her for my Christmas stay. She wants to charge me $200 a day for staying with them. The price is $2 of local price for a hotel. I understand that I am an adult children, and I probably is obligated to pay. Yet it hurts a bit to see my mom is so transactional. Maybe now I should realize that she is actually toxic. I have been out of the house since 19, and left my home country for the last 3 years. I have worked part-time jobs since I was 14, and paid for my own university. I think I had this fantasy built in my head that my mom actually loves me. Coming home is definitely shattering this. This story is titled My Parents Think I'm a Closeted Heterosexual, posted by u/Saltivino27. This story is equally incredible. I'm in my late 20s and my parents seem to insist I must be secretly straight, but in denial or not old enough to realize they really want grandkids. And to keep up that illusion or tradition of middle-class normalcy even, though they hate each other, and all they do is fight and argue all day. My brother is gay, and single and already in his 30s, and they have a hard time accepting it. Let's say they aren't the most open-minded, but they have sort of come around to it at this point. When my brother came out a few years ago, I took the opportunity to them that unfortunately they were out of luck. Because I'm also not going to give them the grandkids they really want, and that they need to accept that I will never get married. I am a sexual aromantic, and do not want a wife or husband or kids or anything like that ever. I am perfectly fine being alone. I knew they would accuse me of making that up, so I just explained that I don't like anyone. And I will be single forever by choice, no desire to find any spouse of any gender or have any kids. They kept insisting, "No, you will meet the right guy. You are just saying that, but you want any more when you find your husband. You aren't mature enough to know what you want. We really want grandkids to take care of. Your future husband will help repair the doors and fix things around the house for us. Every time I visit them around the holidays, they insist and nag about when I'm finding a holidays. They insist and nag about when I'm finding a holiday. I feel bad for them, but it's also funny how badly they want to project heterosexuality onto me when their own marriage is already so unhappy." This story is titled My Parents Still Rant and Whine About My College Rejections When I Am Pushing 30, posted by u/TomatoPotatoisN18288. Our next story is equally fascinating. I'm currently back in my hometown for Christmas for a few days, and one of the first things my parents talked about, while we were getting ready to go to our relative's house, was how my cousin Jenny got into Stanford lol. They were acting like she's a celebrity and low-key throwing shade at me and acting like I wasted their money back in high school. Because I didn't get into any Ivy Leagues and so they have nothing to brag about with their relatives. Lit. Rule Lee 28 years old. My mom even remembers down to the detail how many colleges I got rejected from, my SAT scores for each section, my extracurricular activities, and even which of my friends got into which colleges. At one point, Dad said, "Is it too late for you to consider computer science? We'll make way more money than you make now?" Then my mom started saying, "You know Clara, daughter of my cousin Susie. She got into Harvard, early action. You didn't get into Harvard because you didn't apply yourself in high school. I told you should have done more extracurriculars. I didn't really answer because I don't care. This was like 5,000 years ago. I have a career, and graduated from a UC that isn't prestigious enough for them, because it's not an Ivy or Stanford LMAO. I am not rich, but I am doing fine. Most of the people I knew from HS who got into Ivys aren't exactly all billionaires either. My parents are older Chinese immigrants, and even though I moved out 10 years ago, they still act like this every time I come back, because they're both retired and have nothing to occupy their minds and time. I think even when I'm away, my mom thinks about my college rejections and AP scores. LMAO. When we were in the car, she said, "Do you remember how in HS you got rejected from Yale and even Columbia? But even Kevin from church got into Yale because his mom hired a tutor for his essays. And you did Key Club, and Sarah and Vivian did too, but they both got into Stanford and you didn't, and their SAT scores weren't even higher than yours." I am almost 30 years old. This story is titled, "Mom Will Break My Privacy as an Adult, But Not My Brother's Privacy as an Adult," posted by u/idclawforks. And now for our final story of today. I am in my early 20s and live in my own apartment alone as a college student. I have my room back at my parents' house that I will live in when I visit them. Otherwise, I live on my own. I visit my parents sometimes during breaks, like recently for Christmas break. My older brother is in his mid-20s and live with the parents permanently, for now at least, until he can afford to live on his own because the economy is shit. In regards to my brother's privacy as an adult, and his room, my mom won't dictate how his room needs to be organized, won't clean his room without his permission first, meaning picking up a few clothes or math, won't barge into his room if the door is closed, and he is clearly an adult with us sleeping, and when he is an adult, with his own old age. And my room, my mom will dictate how my room needs to be organized, will clean my room without my permission first, will barge into my room if the door is closed, and I am clearly in there, will berate me about sleeping in when I am an adult with my own schedule. Not like a teenager's privacy belongs to their parents anyway, but this is the way she acts. My stepfather also owns the house and sees no problem with my presence or how my room is. It is only my mother that seems to care so much. Yes, I understand she misses me as her child, who is an adult, and lives on his own, but her behavior aggravates me so much. Sometimes I never want to visit her for longer than a day. And that's all for today's Reddit stories. These incredible tales never fail to amaze me. Subscribe for more compilations like this. What did you think? Drop a comment. Thanks for watching.